Okay, Swampwatch 1/9/19. Welcome to the Watchman page. I was called by God in 2014 to warn and prepare as many people as I could. Basically, warning of the first ever worldwide economic collapse, the draining of the swamp, and the exposure of the worldwide satanic pedophile ring. As part of this, God showed me a few things, showed me physical silver, showed me Litecoin as a way to protect ourselves from what's coming. Showed me Carbon 60, it's a supplement. Everybody should Google that or go to YouTube and search. Amazing supplement. The main focus of this page is that of a watchman, to do exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. So the people here are basically going to be here for two reasons. They either want to gain more knowledge about what's coming, or they want to join us and be a part of the Watchman movement to help warn and prepare their friends and relatives and neighbors. There is, for people who want to pay it forward, for people who want to put others first, who want to do good, who want to do God's work, there's nothing more important you could be doing at this time especially, but maybe at any other time in history. We're going to go through the greatest transfer of wealth in human history. We're headed into man's greatest stage. We're on the verge of man's greatest accomplishment in eradicating the evil that has ruled over us since Babylon. That's coming. For the most part, 2020 is the end for these Satanists. God wants his people to control this new world. That's the whole point of it. It's not only to protect the assets that we have from what's coming from the economic collapse, but it's also to leapfrog into this new world and be at the forefront, to set the example. I'm not selling anything. I don't charge any fees for anything I do. I don't monetize the videos. I don't accept donations. All that I ask is that if you learn something here, you pay it forward. You pay it forward now by talking to your friends and neighbors, trying to get them woke up, get them red-pilled. You pay it forward during the rough patch when we go through the collapse, the economic collapse, by helping others with food and water, what you can. And then in the recovery phase, you help others with the financial benefits you're going to reap if you pay attention to these messages. There's going to be a big need, I think, in the future, these next couple of years, year to two, for this kind of help. And then I plan to continue the Watchman after this. It's something I've decided in the last couple of months. I want to help end veteran homelessness. I want to end homelessness. There's no reason in the United States that anybody should be homeless. We're going to fix that. It's fixable. It hasn't been fixed because up until President Trump got in office, there was no reason for him to fix it because it was going the way they wanted. This thing was on the track for where they wanted to see. They were trying to take down America from the inside. Most of you may realize that. If you don't, if you stick around for a while, you'll get up to speed real quick. For the new people, Agenda 21, it's a must. You got to look at it. UN website, treaty signed by Bush 41, I think in 92. Just the cut to the chase. the bottom line on Agenda 21 is um, these globalists, the deep state, our swamp is in there. They want a population of 500 million by the year 2100. So in 80 years, they want to lose basically 7 billion people because the population today is 7.5 billion. Hard to do when the life expectancy is going up every year. So obviously that's what is driving all of the chaos that you're seeing on the mainstream media right now. You know, the impeachment, the Russia collusion, the Ukrainian farce. It's not because these people don't like President Trump. It's not because they don't think he's presidential. It's because they know if they don't get him out of office, they're going to be executed. Anybody that's guilty of treason or murder is going to be executed. And that's one of the reasons it's taken so long, because they're not cutting any deals. So they're not, you know, these people aren't just going to give up and go to the gallows. They're fighting it out to the end. And for the it's done. I mean, there's nothing they can do at this point. The plan, if you guys aren't following Q, you need to do that. The plan has been executed flawlessly. I couldn't write a better script, guys. It's amazing where we're at and how close we are to the end. I don't know if the economy can make the end of the month. And I don't know if they're going to go much longer than that before they start arresting people. There's 140,000 sealed indictments nationwide. That's a fact. You can look it up. The average in the United States a year is like 3,000 ballpark. 2,500 to 3,500, I think. It's 140,000. They're getting all of them. All of the child traffickers, all the human traffickers, all the drug runners. They're all going down. There's no fear here. There's no gloom and doom. All of this has to happen. And it's for the good. The swamp's got to get cleaned out. These satanic pedophiles have to be removed from the earth. We've got to clean out the economy and these crooked bankers and all the central banks. They've all got to go. We're going to gold-backed currency. Russia's going to gold-backed currency. China's going to a gold-backed currency with no more central banks. The world's going to be a completely different place. It's going to be paradise. Just think about these people who have basically been responsible for every war, every terrorist attack for the last 300 years. Think of the world we're going to have when they're removed. It's what God wants, and it's what's happening. Okay. So anybody, I have been posting all the websites, Coinbase for Litecoin, a bullion company for the silver, the Ledger website for your hard wallet, your Ledger Nano S is what you're going to store your Litecoin in. Those are all posted in the comments at the end. You'll be able to pull those up later tonight or tomorrow. And they're on virtually all the most recent live chats, so you can get them anywhere. We'll talk about the plane in Iran. So there was a lot of confusion, and now it looks like what happened was that they didn't know how to use the Russian basically defense weapons. They apparently thought that this was a rocket coming in, and they shot that plane down. The Iranians did. It was an accident. They didn't do it on purpose. But it looks like that's what happened, and we should probably know more about it tomorrow. it's come out that it looks like the Iranians tipped us off, basically that they were gonna that they were gonna send in a rocket attack. And the reason they did that was because they wanted us to clear the bases so that nobody got injured or killed, because they knew that was going to bring a whole new uh, reign of pain on them if they if they hit somebody. They're really big on saving face. This was all about, in the people's eyes who are ready to burn them at the stake, um, making the people think that they're standing up to the big bully or America, right? But the reality in Iran is the people are revolting. You're not seeing it on the mainstream media, but for weeks or months, they've been rioting in the streets. Um, there's going to be a regime change there. They're not going to last much longer. Hard to say when exactly, but with the economy the way it is, with these new sanctions coming on, um, it can't be, I don't know, a couple of months at the most. I think this could go down. It could go down in Iran virtually any day. I think that's how weak they are right now. And you have to remember, they were being propped up by the deep state. Iran isn't Iran. That's the first thing we got to establish. Is it's the deep state Middle East base is what it is. That's what Iran is. The deep state has been running Iran for a couple of years at least now. Same thing with North Korea. North Korea was a deep state base. They controlled North Korea. So you really have to look at this differently than what you're hearing on the news. And then it starts to make sense, some of these moves. It's for Iran itself as a country. It makes absolutely no sense, them poking the bear. But the deep state wants a world war. They want us distracted. They would love nothing more than a nuclear war. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen mainly because Russia, China, the United States, and Israel all know what they're trying to do. They use the same trick over and over and over and over again. And finally, everybody's figured it out. They can't do anything right anymore. And if you don't see God's hand in this, you need to look a little bit harder, because, number one, President Trump probably isn't alive without God's hand on him, guiding and protecting him. And just the way this thing has gone, I don't think you can name one mistake that President Trump's made since he's taken office. Not one. And the deep state, the globalists, the swamp, they can't do anything right. Everything they try blows up in their faces. They're like the Keystone Cops. It's embarrassing how lame they've been. And it just keeps getting worse, because now they're out of ammo. And now the best thing they got is impeachment, which has 2 articles, and neither one of them are a crime. It's baffling. And if it wasn't for the mainstream media being controlled by the deep state, Project Mockingbird, they've been running the media since after the Second World War. If it wasn't for that, this would already be over, because the media should be tearing them apart. It's ridiculous what's going on. It's comical. I mean, it's that ridiculous. Obviously, nothing's going to come of it. That's why they're trying now. They keep talking about more articles. They need to do something, because, and there's nothing they can do. Trust me, if they had something on President Trump, it would have been out long before this. So all they can try and do is fabricate crimes where there are none, which means this is over. It's just a matter of when are they going to drop the hammer? When are they going to arrest the first big dog? There's been some rumors it's going to be Obama. You know, I personally don't care. I I had a stroke in March because I was the knowing about the satanic pedophilia and what they're doing to these kids was just eating me up. That something wasn't getting done, and I just let it get to me. And I've learned you know we can't control when this is going to happen. We can control what we're doing right here. And again, there's nothing more important we could be doing. It's life changing for the people that we reach. It's life changing. You can buy a Litecoin right now, this minute, for about $45. There's many analysts that believe it'll be $3 million by 2024. And after 25,000 hours of research, the last 5+ years, I think those numbers are conservative. There's 84 million Litecoin in the world total. That's it. 64 million have already been sold. When the banks fail, how long do you think that last 20 million is going to be there? Not very long. A day, you know, maybe an hour. It's going to get snapped up because everybody who has any assets left will be looking for a safe haven outside the system. That means precious metals or cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies, it's Litecoin. Precious metals, it's physical silver. And there's a reason for that. Number one, not only because God showed me those things, because after I have spent countless hours looking at every angle, every option to make sure we're right. And of course, looking for all the other things that can go on. And the more I research, the more positive I am than what I've been shown. And based on what's happened the last 4 months, I'm anxious in like 2 years for somebody to go through and go back to when I started and then look at all the things that I said were going to happen, because virtually everything that I said was going to happen is happening. The timing hasn't been right, you know, but as a watchman, I can't be late. So I've always called things early because it does you no good to be a day late in something like this. Early is okay. Late doesn't work. But as far as the actual events, I think we've been dead on. And it's playing out right now. The economy is ready to go. The swamp is ready to go down. And anybody that saw Ricky Gervais at the Golden Globe Awards better understand that the pedophiles don't have much longer either. Remember, 2 years ago, the mainstream media we were all conspiracy theorists. Oh, it's crazy. You know, there's no Pizzagate. Well, it's exactly what it is. And it's much worse than anybody could imagine. 800,000 kids a year go missing in America. Let that sink in for a second. 800,000 children a year. Many of them abducted by the CIA and then covered up by the FBI. That's all going to come out. The CIA is done. By the end of President Trump's second term, the CIA will be crushed, gone forever. They've been the scourge of the world since the Second World War. All of the things that I saw growing up that turned my stomach, that I saw our government doing were driven by the deep state, by these globalists that had infiltrated our government. And it's over. They're gone. IRS is going to go. The FBI might go too. And the Federal Reserve, done, gone. All those things got to happen, guys. Where am I here? Carney from the Bank of England has an article on Zero Hedge. You guys can go. I posted one on Zero Hedge. This was a second article, basically saying that the oil and gas industry plagued with billions of dollars in worthless assets. So basically, what's been happening is all this free money that the Fed has been pumping out has been used to keep the economy propped up. In other words, our economy should have tanked in 08. They should have let it. That's what should have happened. But they weren't ready for that. It was too early for them. It was supposed to all happen at once. Economy goes down. They get the guns, whether it's a nuclear war or whatever. They weren't ready in 08. So it couldn't go down. So they had to prop it up, keep it kicking the can for a while. That's what they're trying to do now, but we're at the end of the road. They've run out of ammunition. Nobody's got any money left. They're out of bullets. So either the deep state will collapse this thing. The deep state will never allow us to get to the 2020 election with this economy running like it is, even though it's all really smoke and mirrors. On the surface, what the general public is seeing, it's all awesome. Everybody thinks the economy's great. It's not. They say we've got like 22 trillion in debt. Well, that's not true. Catherine Austin Fitz and Dr. Mark Skidmore out of Michigan State, who's I think the dean of economics there at Michigan State, with their grad students from Michigan State, they went into the DOD and HUD budgets. They found another 23 trillion that's missing, printed and missing, that we owe. So now we're at like 45 trillion. And then when you add in all of the unfunded liabilities, Social Security, money that we owe, that we don't have in our hands, and Medicare, we're about 250 trillion in debt. Now, that's never going to be paid back. It can't be paid back. It's not going to happen. And especially in the condition of the economy. If the economy was booming, we couldn't pay it back. We certainly can't pay it back as it is now. President Trump knows this. That's why he's been running up the tab, getting the military pumped up, because he knew this was coming too, and he needed a strong military when it happened. Well, he's got it. They're dialed in. They're ready to go. Whenever this goes down, they're going to declare martial law. They're expecting, because you have to remember, they're going to arrest Obama. They're going to arrest the Clintons. There's going to be hundreds in Washington that are arrested. They're worried about some civil unrest from the people like Antifa and BLM. The other side of that, though, is you're going to have a lot of people my age who've worked their whole life to get a good pension that's not going to be there. Bank accounts are going to go. Stocks, bonds. You're going to lose 80% of the value in your homes. That's why we got to get people onto physical silver and Litecoin. Because if you can just get $500, $250 in physical silver, $250 in Litecoin, it's going to more than make up anything you're going to lose. And if you can get more, get more. Because if you don't get it, anything left in the bank is going to be gone. And the banks changed the law 2 years ago because they knew this was coming, so that now our deposits are considered loans to the bank. And what that means is when they fold, when they go belly up, we're the last ones to get paid, which means if we're lucky, we'll get pennies on the dollar. So would you rather have pennies on the dollar or millions in Litecoin and a bunch in physical silver? It's, this is a gift from God. That we're at these prices this close to the end, days or weeks away, is a godsend. The prices, with us being this close, if you'd asked me 2 years ago what the prices would be a month away from the end, I'd have said easily 1,000 for an ounce of silver and 1,000 for a Litecoin. Easily. We're at $45 for a Litecoin tonight, ballpark, and about $18, $20 out the door for silver. Silver, I mentioned the gold-backed currencies. When the world goes to gold-backed currencies, there's some economists that, most of the economists agree, gold is going to be revalued to about between 50 and 80,000 an ounce, based on the amount of currency, based on the amount of gold in the world today. That's what they figure it's going to hit. Well, the historical average, gold to silver, is 10 to 1. For 5,000 years, it comes out of the ground 10 to 1. 10 ounces of silver for 1 ounce of gold. That's how it's been priced for 5,000 years, up until recently, till they got into the last couple of years, they got into the heavy manipulation. When this manipulation is removed and this economy goes down, it's going to snap back to its historical average. So you could pay $20 for something today, that in 2 or 3 months, when gold goes to 50, that's going to bring silver to 5,000. So something you pay $20 for could be worth 5,000 by this summer. Think about that. And Litecoin, within 4 years, look at that return on investment. I think Litecoin is going to have the greatest return on investment of any asset in history. Again, when you look at the numbers, when you look at there's 84 million, when you look at Litecoin, of the top three, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin, Litecoin is the one that is most likely to be a mass adopted as settling debt, as a form of payment, which gives it, to my mind, a huge jump. I actually think that in 10 years, Litecoin will be worth more than Bitcoin. I really believe that. And I think silver is going to pass gold too, because there's a lot of stuff coming with silver in technology, new advances that require huge amounts of silver, going to drive it through the roof. So don't miss the boat. And the problem now is, guys, we don't have a lot of time. I just don't see the way things are going around the world, with all the economies around the world. The EU's on the ropes. China, mentioned this the other night, the economic analyst said China will never default on a state-backed bond. Because again, China is also big on image and reputation, saving face. Never going to happen in China, they said. It just did. For the first time in over 20 years, China just had a state-backed bond default. They're ready to go down. And they've got, look at all the other problems they got with Hong Kong and all the civil unrest there. China could go down in the next couple of years here. The same thing that happened in Russia could happen in China. There's a shift coming. Communism is dead. It might not be in 5 years, but there's no way in 10 years communism's still functioning on the planet. It's never worked. It never will work. It's communism is a control mechanism for globalism. That's what it was invented for. And look what happened to Venezuela. There's a perfect example, textbook. They were one of the top economies in South America. First or second, I believe. Say 10 years ago. 15 at the most. Look at them today. You can't find a pet on the streets in Venezuela. They had to eat them all. They ate all of the animals out of the zoo. And here's another good one. 6 months ago, an ounce of silver bought enough food for a family of 4 for 6 months. So people say you can't eat silver, but you really can. Because if you got silver, people are going to have food. They'll trade for it. Now, that's worst case scenario. I don't think we're going to go there. Worst case scenario would be if the banks close, the power goes off, the grocery stores run out of food. That's the worst case scenario. I don't think any of those things are going to happen. I think that President Trump's on top of this. I think he's going to keep the power on, which means we'll have water. I think he's going to keep... Now, there may be shortages with food. You may not eat every day if you're not prepared for this. But the people that are prepared are going to thrive through this. The ones that aren't are probably going to get through it, but it might be dicey depending on where you live. The other thing we got to consider, and cognitive dissonance is going to be at epidemic proportions when this satanic pedophilia is exposed. So this would be the ultimate worst case scenario where power's off, stores are empty, and everybody's getting overwhelmed with all of this information about the satanic pedophilia, which then causes cognitive dissonance. And if you've ever seen anybody going through that, it's like a computer freezing. Like their brain kind of freezes up because they can't take in all that information, and most of it obviously being so negative with satanic pedophilia. Just think about suffering from that and having a family and kids, and you got no food in the house, and there's rioting and looting in the streets. That's the worst case scenario. That's the other thing we do when we're out there spreading the word, when we're talking to people. The more information we can get to them, the less likely they are to suffer from cognitive dissonance. Even if you don't think you got through it all, but you have an argument with somebody on any of this stuff, we call it planting seeds. It's a good thing, because for that person, having that conversation, even though they didn't believe a thing you said, when it actually does happen, it's going to help them mentally process it, because they're going to remember back, oh, this guy told me about that. And if they're a friend or relative, they're going to get back to you, and you're going to be able to help them through this. The flip side to that is the people we know that we've had arguments with, maybe they called us names, maybe they said horrible things, and maybe they're embarrassed to get back to you. We've got to be ahead of it. People that you know in your life where that happened, if they don't get back to you a couple of days after this goes down, you need to reach out to them, if you still can, if the communications are up. And I believe they will be. But we can't have any hard feelings. For those people, we want to blame them, but it really, when you look at the plan of the globalists and what they've done to get to this point, they've really had a great plan. I mean, and they were this close. This close. I mean, they took the schools. the colleges. That's how they did this. And then on top of that, you notice they put us in a situation where basically both parents had to work, and a lot of times they had to work multiple jobs. So what ends up happening then? The schools end up raising our kids. And we don't have time to stay on top of it because we're working 15 hours a day. And so they just fill them full of propaganda. You know, this is how crazy it is when they can make kids memorize verses of the Quran, but we can't pray in school. You think that system is screwed up? That's what was happening. All of this is done. Again, by the end of President Trump's second term, I think the illegal alien situation will be 95% resolved. What's going to happen when this goes down is all the free money, all the freebies are going to be cut off. Plus the fact you're going to have a lot of pissed off Americans because they're going to blame the illegal aliens for bleeding us dry. Even though it's not their fault. You know, it was the globalist who allowed it to happen, who engineered it to happen. But, you know, human nature, that's what's going to happen. You're going to see in droves people heading back to Mexico and South America and heading back to the Middle East because they're not going to get anything from us and they're not going to be welcome. So it'll end. Anybody who's illegal, ICE will be rounding them up. Nobody's staying. Everybody's going. All of the infringements on the Second Amendment, the First Amendment, any place in our Constitution that's been violated, it's going to be fixed by the end of President Trump's second term. So the most important thing we can be doing is exactly what we're doing here, guys. It's all good. No fear. No fear porn. That's the other thing I want to talk about. Stay away from those. Anybody that's pushing fear porn and clickbait, do not go to their site. And there's two I want to mention. Dave Zublik, who's, I believe, is 100% is a paid troll, and AMTV. They're just trying to rack up their YouTube numbers so they get more monetization on their videos. World War III, they got mushroom clouds, just getting you to click on so they make money. Then they try and sign you up for, they've got a course for cryptocurrencies or whatever. Anything you're going to learn there, come here. I'll teach you for free. Stay away from those sites. You're just playing into their hand when you click on. And you're not going to learn anything. And for the new people, the best thing you can do until you kind of get a feeling for what's happening, go to my personal page, not the Watchman page, because hundreds of people post on the Watchman page. Go to my personal page and look at what I post. I have hundreds of articles and videos posted on everything I've been talking about. Look at who I'm watching. Look at those videos. Read those articles, at least for a couple of weeks, until you understand what's happening and who you should listen to and who you shouldn't. Then go out on your own when you feel comfortable. But I see a lot of new people floundering around out there looking at stuff they shouldn't be looking at after I've already told them what to do. And the problem is, guys, I'm crazy busy. Virtually every waking hour, I'm on this. 16 hours plus a day. And it's getting busier every day. I'm helping 3 or 4 people a day with Litecoin and silver and answering questions. And so you guys have to take some of the responsibility on for yourself to get through this with direction from me. But I can't talk to 500 people a day. It doesn't work. And, you know, and it's not good for my blood pressure either, which we really try and keep control of. So do me a favor, do what I asked for a couple of weeks, go to my page, look at those articles and videos. If you have questions, I want you guys to feel like you can get a hold of me anytime. My number's posted all over the place. But be mindful that there's a lot of people that need help right now, and I'm really busy. So try and keep it down to the necessities. I'd appreciate it. What else we got here? Sunni Muslims are applauding the Soleimani killing. This guy was a butcher. And you've got now the deep state, swamp, Democrats, trying to say what a humanitarian this guy was. They just keep making it worse for themselves. Democrats are leaving the party in droves. Look at the hashtag walkaway videos. You've got people that have, their families have been Democrats for generations. They're walking away. They're fed up. They're finally seeing, you can only cry wolf so many times. And they really went overboard. And now it's, sometimes the conservatives, the Republicans get upset. And I'm like, let them talk. The more they talk, the more they run their mouths, the better it is for us. They're killing themselves. Let's not get in their way. Let them do it. Fed injects $83 billion more in liquidity to keep the markets afloat in the repo program. I said this last week. It's like a ship taking on water. And it comes to a point where you just can't bail fast enough. And that's where we're at right now. They can't pump enough money into it because it's so out of control. The bubble got so big and there's so many leaks in it. There any day it's going to blow. So you new people, don't procrastinate. If you've got the assets to do these things now, extra food, extra water, medical supplies, ammo, physical silver, Litecoin, those are the basics. And then you've got to adjust depending on your own situation from there. But don't wait. There's not much time. Okay, let's look at the questions. Michael, how you doing? Gary, Tessie, Jean-Marc, is that how I say it? Donna, hello. Cousin Bill. David, Chad, what's up? Tessie saw the Q post. Christine, how's it going with Scott? Have you heard from him at all? We got to get these videos up on the website. Anybody who's got extra time on their hands that's computer savvy. We really need help. The guy who built our website got too busy to help us anymore. He was transferring everything, all the live chats and many of the articles and videos to our website that he built. Beautiful website. But he doesn't have the time anymore. He got too busy. So anybody that can upload videos, basically what we need is somebody to upload the live chats to the website, our website, and our YouTube channel. So anybody that has time, that's computer savvy, Christine's offered to help, but she works too, and we really need. We're way behind. So anybody that can help, please get a hold of me. Linda, hello. Rita. Michael says the Iranians thought the plane was loaded with Americans. I think that's what he said. Yeah, I honestly think it was. They didn't think it was a plane. They actually thought. They thought it was a rocket. I believe they didn't know how to operate the system, or misread the indicators. It was an accident. They didn't do this on purpose. I'm pretty sure. Danielle, how you doing? Yeah, and just for you newcomers, I would not focus on Q. Q is very difficult to analyze. You're better off going to a site that does the analysis. I really loved Serial Brain too. He did an awesome job on the Q analysis. He's kind of backed away now. And there's a couple other channels that do it. I think Red Pill 78 does. I'll post a couple, but focus on the other stuff, guys. You know, what Q's talking about right now, we know that the swamp's going to drain. So you really don't have to worry too much about Q. He's not going to tell us exactly when it's going to happen, and that's the only thing we really need to know. We know it's coming, so don't waste your time with things that aren't going to help you. Focus on the important stuff, the prep, the warning your friends. Rebecca, how you doing? Lisa? Yeah, listen, guys. There's not going to be a third world war. There's not going to be a civil war. There's not going to be a nuclear war or a nuclear exchange. This is all fear porn. This is all distraction. They don't want you looking at the Epstein case, the satanic pedophilia. Those are the things they don't want you looking at because that's what's going to take them down. That's what they can't recover from. When this is exposed, the world is going to unite behind President Trump. This is world-changing stuff, guys. And there's no time in history I would rather be alive. I never thought, I knew this had to happen I was 12 years old. I knew the Catholic Church was corrupt. I knew our government was corrupt. And the only thing I could figure is the whole thing has to collapse for us to be able to fix it. I never thought I'd see it in my lifetime. And along comes God and President Trump, and look where we're at. This 10-year period that we're in the middle of going to be the most analyzed 10 years in the history of mankind. We're going to accomplish more in these 10 years than we have in the last 200,000. And, I keep telling people, we need to stop every once in a while and just think about what it is we're doing here. Because it never should have happened. You think about upsets, right? If you're into sports, the greatest upsets. This is by far. And you can tell by their reactions, they never thought in a million years we could do this. They thought they had us buried. And you can see it in their faces. Arrogance. Well, guess what? It's not going to work out for them. Mike, how you doing? Tommy, hello. Amy, hello. Oh, don't thank me, David. I'm just the messenger. Yeah, silver eventually is going to go. I think it's going to pass gold. We'll see. Oh, yeah, listen, guys. Schiff, Schumer, Pelosi, Feinstein, the top 50 people in the Obama administration, Bush 43 and his administration for 9/11, they're all going down. Nobody's going to escape justice. No one. Hello, Greta and the kids. Listen, guys, don't think that people aren't listening. I know they don't agree with you. We're planting seeds. They're going to remember these conversations you're having, even if they don't buy any Litecoin, even if they don't buy any food. It's the mental part of it. Remember, this is three-pronged. Being prepared physically, mentally, and spiritually. So it's good for them. Yeah, don't watch the fear porn clickbait, and don't watch the mainstream media. It's a waste of time. Don't worry about this crap from the House. Listen, Pelosi can do whatever she wants. It's got to get through the Senate, and the president's got to sign it. It's all theatrics. It means nothing. Meaningless. It's a joke. It's a way to distract us. Don't let them distract you. Don't play into their hands, guys. Yeah. uh, yeah, it's got as much chance of passing as a snowball in hell making it. It's not. Yeah, it's a joke. Alita, hello. Jerry, hello. Well, Q's not taking anyone down. First of all, Q is a few people working with President Trump to disseminate information. They're not going to be out there with the SEAL teams taking these people down. No problem, David. Well, Nancy Pelosi is an alcoholic who has Kuru disease. Um, she's delusional, and she's going to hang. So it's all good. Um, Man, we're under an hour tonight. Um, Remember, guys, when you're out there, you got to be positive. The thing that we've got to stress to people is, we've been through tough times before as a country. Every time that's happened, we've pulled together and worked through it. Every single time. We're going to do the same thing now. The difference is that for the first time in over 100 years, at least, we're going to have our country back. We're going to have the country that our founders intended us to have, and we're going to have the world that God wants us to have. It's going to be pretty damn close to paradise on earth, guys. When we have that evil removed, that influence, they were always the one driving the wedges. That's how they controlled us, divide and conquer. They were experts at it. They've been doing it for thousands of years. That reign is over. Just think of what the world's going to be like. Virtually no war. I couldn't write a better script. I mean, I keep saying it over and over again. I couldn't write a better script. It's amazing, guys. It's a blessing. Okay, guys, I think I'm going to wrap it up there for tonight. Remember, fear not. God and President Trump are 1,000% in control. We'll see you tomorrow night at 5 Pacific. God bless.